So this week, David tasked us with answering some questions about storyboarding and prototyping. So the first question is, how do you define scripting, storyboarding, and prototyping, and which method do you prefer? So I would typically say that I don't really prefer one method over the other, but I really do enjoy developing. So as soon as I get into prototyping, I'm pretty happy. So defining scripting. Scripting, so I hope that he means writing script. For scripting, I write it out and I try to add a note for the tone of voice it should be in, just because it's easier for the voice artist to understand what you mean, or for someone on your team if they're recording it. Then storyboarding is bringing the idea you had in mind to the computer but not animating it yet. That would be for the prototyping phase. So you're taking your objectives and you're creating a visualization of how you want them to come across to the learner. And then prototyping I define as a working sample but with less bells and whistles. For the second question, how do you storyboard interactivity? So I generally try to just make a really good note of things. As a developer, I know a lot of lingo and I can make it pretty clear by writing it out. The clearer the instructions, always the better. And then what are your top 3 storyboard tips for new course creators? So the first one I have is navigation is critical, so critical. Remember to work in your navigation, even if it's not complicated branching scenarios. You just never know what order someone's going to put something in, or if they're going to add something. Just make it very clear what order you want your screens to go in. And then another one is detail. Detail is so extremely important because especially if you're creating a storyboard for a developer, but even for yourself, because you may forget what you're adding. And then always, always, always get approval on your objectives and your storyboard before getting into work. That is, unless you're approving the storyboard. It's just so important. It will save you so much time. If you don't get approval, sometimes you can double, triple your time. You want to make sure all of the content's approved.